Thank you. I come here with a question for all you. It's like, should we stop discussing about technical debt with top management? And this is something like a question that have two parts. Something like, they really understand us. And the second is, we're explaining the right thing. So I will try to answer my own question, okay? But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Pablo Bouzada. You could find me in LinkedIn because my name is not so common, I for be Spanish. And I'm engineering manager at Viaplay the last 3 years. But previously, I have a career of more than 20 years, and previously I worked more than 12 years as a consultant in more than 80 companies. So my main work being consultant was answering questions for my customers, my users. Was why this is taking so long, why we have that amount of bugs, why my thing is not well-trained, why is always DNS, Amazon Web Service node of that. So, but today I will focus more on that technical debt, because it's something like you usually use that term, and then we take a couple of weeks ago that was released in the new Stack. It's a really good platform with blogs. That survey for 1,200 engineers that said that they want to code, but they are almost all the day spent on paying technical debt. And when C-level people, not technical people, go and see or read that kind of things, it's something like, oh, but what the hell is technical debt? What is it talking about? Because the article said that developers spend 84% of their time paying technical debt, working on technical debt, working maintenance, and then not in new features at all. So I will start with that. And then based on my experience as a consultant, I will refer to like 4 real conversations that I had with not technical people, not always stakeholders, not always C-level, but not technical people that don't understand technical debt. I will start from the very beginning. It's something like when we are talking about specific technical things, we can use our own language, our technical language. When we find something like it's really hard to change, code that is not maintainable and so on, we could talk about orthogonality, we could talk about cyclomatic complexity, we could talk about coupling, cohesion. About databases, we could talk about the form that that database on is the first, the second, the boycott, 4, 5, 6, something that is between the 5 and the 6 and so on. But it's something like not technical people don't understand. People say, wait, don't talk computing to me, because when you are quite deep in technical jargon, people lost. We in the industry, you have that metaphor. The metaphor was released, invented by Ward Cunningham around the 90s or the early 90s, and said that the technical debt, it's something like he tried to explain his manager, and his manager was more on the financial side. And then he tried to explain that they are able to do something quick that will have consequences in the future. It's something like they will, he said like, okay, we are going with that solution that is not the best, but we know that with that solution we will achieve the deadline we had, but we had to pay that technical debt in the future. Okay, so technical debt refers to the implied cost of additional work in the future, resulting of choosing an expedited solution over a more robust one. Okay, we're choosing something like we know that is not the best solution, but that will speed up our development, maybe. But this always comes with a warning. The warning is like, while technical debt can accelerate development in a short term, it might increase future costs and complexity if it is left unresolved. And this is an important part of that, because technical debt per se is nothing wrong. It's nothing like if we deliberately make that decision, in the future we need to solve that technical debt and implement a better solution. Okay, this is fair, no problem. But what happened when we left that technical debt in our systems, not just in our code, because as Camille mentioned this morning in the keynote, we are not talking just about technical systems. We are talking about the whole organization systems, okay? So also to answer the question, we need to go a bit deeper in what technical debt means. And I will use that technical debt quadrant that was also Martin Fowler defined that quadrant that I think is brilliant, the way that he defined the things. And said the thing, like, this is the origins of technical debt, okay? The technical debt, as where Cunningham defined it, is we must ship it now and deal with the consequences. We know what the consequences are. We know how time we need to spend to fix that thing. But now this is the best solution, or this is the solution that will provide like that hitting that deadline, or ensuring that customer are with us or something like that. Okay, so it's for a business goal that we are making that decision. So Martin Fowler defined that quadrant and said like that specific kind, the original technical debt, is deliberate and prudent. So it's not too risky, and it's something like we know that we are doing in that way, and we all know that we are doing in that way. Okay, this is fair. The good technical debt. Okay, but what happened when, because as I define it, like it's a decision we're making now that will affect us in the future if we not solve it. But what happened when we are talking with not technical people and find something like that? Stop discussing about the past, let's focus on the future. And then this was a real conversation I had with a program manager who's a bit reluctant to pay the technical debt, to spend time fixing technical debt. Okay. I think preparing that talk, I found that image, I think it's the best description of technical debt. And if you have enough time in the industry, you will know the intro story of that's happened here, because this is typical stuff with, technical people, a technical person, a not technical person, or a manager that is just focused on the futures. Something like also Camille mentioned this morning, like being a feature factory push you to do things that you are not sure that they are good or not in the best way, and so on. But I could read the intro story. Only with that, it's only one image, but I could read the story. And this story is like typical company that start out, we have the best product in the world because we will provide the thing that the user want in a way that have never been. And we have really great ideas on that. And we have the best thing for doing that is a whiteboard and a lot of post-its. So first thing in that history, as a user, I want a front door to enter my house. Okay, done. We have a front door. Yeah. Second is the story. As a user, I want a bit posh, and then I want a couple of columns to bring that classic vibe to my house. Okay, I'm not sure where to set that columns, but we are building the walls, and that wall is a bit, not straight tall. So why not set here and there the columns and wait, and as feedback, as a user for feedback, Okay, then the project continues. People start working, and in the walls, in the front part of the house. But also another thing, because we had to speed up, so we add more people to the project, and then another people will start working on the back end, the backyard, on the back of the house, and then like both parts need a roof, and then they have their own implementation of a roof, but as you see, like are not connected. So we have feedback from our users. Please fix the water leaks that come through the roof when it rains. So, okay, we need to fix a thing so quick, and instead of complete the roof and having only one permutation of that thing, we decide, why not to use a SAS? Okay, why not to use a service that provided like that solution? And then we found that thing. Umbrella company provide us something like it's not just build instead of instead of build it, we buy it, and then it's something like we'll provide like okay, cover that part of the house that is leaked. Is something like the water under what for that, and then it also is a powered, so should be a good solution for us. And then we finally get that user story that come for the last thing is as a user I want a window to look to my backyard when I take in my coffee in the morning. Okay, and then we are here. We had the manager saying, I don't understand why it takes so long to add a new window. And the response is easy, because our walls are not completed. And then the manager say, okay, why our walls are not completed? Why are in that state right now? Why nobody told me that our walls are not completed? And you go to the backlog and see something like that. A technical story created 2 years ago, low priority, merge front and rear walls. And that technical story also has another subtask, because we like creating subtask. Make the walls thicker to hold windows. So this is why we are not able to set windows in that house. This is a really good example of what means, or what Martin Fowler said here. We are still in the deliberate row, but we are in different column. We have no time to design a better solution. And then he said like that thing like, okay, this is deliberate because we are making that decision knowing what are the more or less what are the consequences. We are postponing things, but it's risky, it's reckless. Okay, it's something we are taking so many risks doing that thing. And this is more or less the most usual thing when we have a lot of pressure from product side, from stakeholders. So we are, instead of going for the best solution, we are taking a lot of shortcuts. And the thing is like, okay, this is technical debt, okay? But when you try to explain that thing to not technical people, usually the metaphor have one of, for me, is the bigger weakness that have. Like thinking like technical debt works as financial debt. That is not true. And then I also had that conversation with a not technical person that said, oh, honey, that's not how loans work. And this was my wife. Okay. My wife works in a bank, and they know I have a master's degree in economics and so on. So they're like, oh yeah, okay, come. I will explain you how technical debt, how financial debt works. Okay, and then he explained this is something easy. If you take something like a financial debt with a loan amount on 100,000 euros, a long term as 60 months, because why I say 5 years, 60 months is good. We are counting like children, okay? And interest rates of 5%, you will pay each month 1,887 with 12 cents every month. And then you know the consequences when you are not paying that thing, okay? You will get like, email from your bank, you will get like your risk will rise, you will have not afford other payments and so on. And also now we know like finally we will pay an interest of 13,000 euros, and then the total amount will be 130,227 with 20 cents. Okay, so everything is assist. It's something like, okay, this is the thing. This is a financial debt. But what happened with technical debt? With technical debt, our loan amount is, it depends on the technical debt, because not all the technical debt are the same. Yeah. Our long term is, ASAP or when we have time for doing that thing. The interest rate is, how long we could not fix the thing? How long we could stay with the solution that we have now? Because this will change a lot, the interest that the interest that we'll pay. The monthly payment is okay per corner or per manager. How much we can spend on that each sprint? We think like 20% is good, 40%. Then we see if we have enough for saving or not having a big problem, big bugs or something like that. The total interest depends on other priorities for sure. It's something like, okay, depending on when we pay, we will spend more or less time on that. And the total amount is, who knows? because this is something like only happening with technical debt, or specifically happening with technical debt, that these are a lot of unknowns. And when that two kinds of technical debts is quite clear that it's something deliberate, and usually we know exactly what we need to fix and more or less how much that will take. But the problem is when we add another row here, that is the technical debt that is not deliberate. It's something like Martin Fowler called inadvertent. Okay, it's something like when the thing is not aware that the harm that some decision will make in the future. So and also we have two kinds of two groups here. Something like it's prudent. It's something like, oh, we don't know that we doing that thing that we did in the past. We had that issue. Okay, now we know, and then we could fix it in a proper way. But the most problematic one is the other one. Is that is inadvertent and risky, because it's okay. What's lying? What are you talking about? Something like this modern way of developing software. So you will find a lot of the things when you're trying to refactor really all the stuff. This is what Martin Fowler said, that because we not have only one kind of technical debt, and also in the same company we could have a mix of the things. Some things will be here, some things will be there. It depends a lot on the maturity of the team, or the maturity of the company. It depends a lot of the culture inside the company, like just pushing, just going for moving forward, no complaints, just doing stuff, or no, everything has to pass through a really bureaucratic stuff, and then will be like in different states. But the thing that is common is like what happens when we have a managed technical debt. And this is it when we start to talking seriously with not technical people. Okay? This is the moment that they realize what the problem is and what are the consequences. First, managed technical debt that is not resolved, is increase the cost of ongoing maintenance, and also add new features, because every feature is something like, okay, I want to do that thing, but it's something with the walls and the window. My walls are thinner than the window, so I'm not able to do that thing. Second, it's like carrying technical debt into production could raise risk in the outages and security breaches. It's something like, oh, we could go with that solution, and then we find that solution was insecure or create other issues in the system. Third, refactoring becomes riskier, because every time that we touch something inside the system, we break other stuff. And the same, like modification in production carry with a higher chance of causing disruptions. And I think for me, it's one of the hidden ones. It's not that clear, because that are clear. It's not like touching something that is so will create some problems. But I think the last one is the hidden one, that the productivity declines and delivery slows down, because people are waiting all the time, fixing things, instead of working new features, something like they are more motivated to do. So that adds stress to the teams and can lead to reduced motivation and higher staff turnover. So when you have that thing, and you present that thing with technical debt, not just, okay, we have technical debt. How many technical? A lot. How many is a lot? A huge technical debt. Large. I don't know how to measure that thing, because it's something like we don't have like a measurement for that thing. It's something like we have a lot of technical debt here, there. This system is something is more prone to have issues and so on. But when you show to not technical people that thing, then you get that final conversation. It's evident that things were not executed as they should have been. Let's take decisive actions to rectify this situation and forge a path toward a better outcome. Okay, this is a real conversation I had with a CEO of a company. And then, C-level people talk in that way sometimes. Maybe not here in Denmark, because you are quite more direct, but you see people talk on that way. You know what? Executives or C-level expect to see always diagrams with lines going up to the right, with green numbers, with positive deltas, and so on. When you come with something like, we have huge technical debt, something like, okay, but what that means? What they want to see is, okay, you are bringing me a problem, so I want a solution, I want a plan, I want objectives, I want goals, I want a budget for carry with that. Something like, okay, how we could handle that thing. This is where the metaphor technical depth is something like we need to go further, a bit further of that metaphor, not just, we need to pay the technical debt. How much that cost? 500 millions. No, it's not. It's something like we need to change things in the system to fix that thing. Okay, several things. But I think if you have to take something for that talk, is the next slide. Okay, the issue we're trying to solve is not paying the technical debt, but increase the internal quality of the systems. This is the main point. Okay, technical debt is something like we are using for explaining stuff, but it's not like what we need to fix. What I mean with internal quality of the systems. So when you are adding functionality to a system that has low internal quality, you could at the beginning start moving really quick and add a lot of functionality and a lot of features, but you reach the technical debt. When technical debt smash you, then you will stuck in that point. When the internal quality is good, you will be able to maintain the ability to easily and safely implement changes in the system that is continually evolving. And this is the most important thing, that technical debt will affect you in the future. You don't know when, but will affect you in the future. When you are trying to do something in some specific part of the system, you will find okay, that technical debt that we never fix is there waiting for us like an animal behind a tree and then gets all of our expectations. So how we could do that? Okay. This is the second most important thing on that talk. How we could do that? How we could from unmanaged to manage technical debt. So the goal is reaching the prudent deliberate. Something like there is where the teams are safe to test new things and do stuff that could be quickly fixed. And you could see that there is not a direct way for going to left button to the top right. This is not direct way. You will never do that thing. You will never you will never pass from inadvert, risky to prudent deliberate. So you need to grow. You have to grow your team. And for doing that, for that level, you need to invest in hiring training. You have to ensure that the teams are following good practices. You need to set guidelines for refactory legacy code. And also you need to improve feedback, internal feedback and external feedback. Okay, you need to improve the feedback you get from your users, but also you need to improve the feedback you get from your teams. And the feedback is something like, we need to refactor the thing. It's quite important to refactor the thing now, not in 3 months, not in 1 year, now. Second, how we could move from inarbiter prudent to deliberate prudent. This is quite easy. Well, it's easy, I think. Because when a team is here, in the prudent inadvert, they know more or less how to do stuff, but they don't know exactly how to do it. So you need to let them to make some mistakes as a leader. You need to let them to make some mistakes, and then ensuring that they not affect the morale of the team. Because if not, they will start doing the other thing. Okay, I don't care, or something risky, so I don't want to be in there. And two things that are important here, encourage the team to challenge business requests that compromise technical solution. This is something it's hard, but sometimes we need to agree on how to do stuff, and then, okay, let's spend some time fixing that thing, and then we will move forward quicker with that other thing. And two things that I found a lot of times. First is avoid solution driven by individual efforts, because one of the pains of technical debt is when that technical debt was created by someone that left the company. So you have no idea what happened there. So you will have to go to the code and try to guess what is happening and how to fix it. Okay. And the last one is run away from over-engineering. Keep things simple. That will provide easily ways of changing stuff. And the last, how to move from the risky deliberate to prudent, deliberate prudent. Okay. Mainly this is because the system, the culture of the company. So mainly it's because there is a lot of work in progress at the same time. There is a lot of pressure from stakeholders, for product managers, product owners, whatever. So the first thing is to reduce that work in progress, trying to maintain a good balance between the new stuff and maintenance. and be fair with that thing. It's something like, okay, that will take time for that reason. We made that decision in the past, and then we now have to go in that direction. Okay. For sure, set percentage of time dedicated to clean off or refactor stuff, educate the stakeholders about the impact of technical debt in a proper way, not just like, oh, we have a lot of technical debt. Yeah. Okay, next sprint we'll do other stuff. No, we have a lot of technical debt. Yeah, and then it's something like an excuse. Like you are not doing things because you have a lot of technical debt. So it sounds like, oh, the dog eat my homework, teacher, something. Like we need to be fair with the things that we are doing. And something that works really well is like follow the Boy Scout rule. Like leave the ground cleaner than you found it. Every time that you touch something and it's something proper, it's something like could be improved, go. Not like ask for permission for that thing. It's something like take the ownership of the code because it's our domain, Just a recommendation about the thing, like we need to speak with product people in the terms that they know, or they are able to understand. If they understand technical debt metaphor, go for that. If they not continue with the same thing, not continue like a broken record, and then technical debt. Try to find a different way to explain. If you are sure that you are in some of that cases, that is not like the good one, that we are not. So go for trying to fix the root cause of the things. If it's the pressure from commercial, from product people, go for that. If it's the lack of knowledge, go for that. If it's the lack of maintainability or the high rotation in the teams, go for that kind of things. If it's lack documentation, this is the root cause. The technical debt is a metaphor first, but also it's an abstraction. It's nothing. It's not always the same. It's something like we have a generalization of what happened with when we make decisions and then in the future impact us. And now that's all. Thank you so much.